26 years ago this month, the manifesto of the Unabomber was published in the New York Times and the Washington Post. It was an unconventional move authorized by the FBI in their attempts to capture the domestic terrorist who had killed 3 people and maimed more than 24 others starting in the late 1970s. Ted Kaczynski remains in federal Supermax prison, serving life without the possibility of parole, and several of those bombings happened right here in the Bay Area. KRON 4's Maureen Kelly talked to the son of one of his victims.
This is the face of the man the FBI describes as a twisted genius. Before Ted Kaczynski was unmasked, he eluded a multi-agency task force known only as the Unabomber. Over the course of 17 years, starting in 1978, he mailed or delivered homemade bombs, many exploding at universities across the country. In the 80s, 2 separate bombs detonated at UC Berkeley, where Kaczynski had previously been a math professor. Some of his other mail bombs went off at computer stores and airlines. The devices themselves untraceable. His reign of terror seemed to stop in the late 80s, but started up again with 2 back-to-back attacks in June of '93, one at Yale, the other going off in the home of UCSF geneticist Dr. Charles Epstein. The package came in the mail to Epstein's Tiburon home, carried in by his daughter. When he opened it, the force of the blast blew out the kitchen windows and severely injured the married father of 4.
A lot of interior organ damage. It tore into him. He lost fingers on both hands. It damaged his hearing. It was just, it was a big mess, and it required many, many, many surgeries, particularly hand surgeries over a long period of time to get, much of his function back.
Dr. Epstein's son, Jonathan, says the attack was hard on the whole family, especially since there was no reason for the scientist to be targeted.
The Unabomber mistakenly believed he was involved in genetic engineering of some sort, and he never touched anything like that. He was really focused on the biochemistry of Down syndrome and helping parents nurture their children with Down syndrome. So it had nothing to do with that, but, Kaczynski was not a sane man.
Finally, 2 years later, a break in the case. Kaczynski sent his 35,000-word manifesto against the evils of technology to the New York Times and Washington Post, saying if they published it, the bombings would stop. At first, the answer was no, not to give in to a terrorist. But then the U.S. Attorney General and the head of the FBI at the time gave their authorization, and that decision paid off. The bomber's own brother recognized the writings and tipped the FBI. The Unabomber was captured at his remote Montana cabin. Kaczynski's campaign of terror ultimately took 3 lives and left 29 injured. Taking a plea deal in order to avoid the death penalty, he was sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 30 years without the possibility of parole. Now, all of these years later, Dr. Epstein's son feels that Kaczynski's crimes continue to reverberate in the present day.
It was a harbinger in some ways of the trends that have surfaced among us in terms of people being anti-science and acting out in ways that are inappropriate. It's fine to not believe in something, but this was a strong example of that. And, the good news out of it is that ultimately science has, marched on, and my father's work has lived on. But I think it's a warning for our times, and we need to keep an eye on making sure people are properly aware of the benefits of science and not made afraid of it.
Almost 60 at the time of the attack, Jonathan's father did not let his injuries stop him. He was able to continue his work into his 70s and was even able to continue playing his beloved cello with a special modified bow. Dr. Charles Epstein died of cancer in 2011 at the age of 77. Maureen Kelly, KRON 4 News.